It's time for business news with Ari Ravinovich. And Ari, Instagram is rolling out a new type of account for younger users.
Parents out there, especially if you have teenagers, it's going to mean maybe a little bit more safety, a little more privacy for knowing that their kids' accounts are somewhat protected with these new changes announced from Meta Platforms. That is, of course, the parent company of Instagram, which announced that now users under the age of 18 will have their accounts set to private mode by default. And that comes after many years of backlash about how social media affects the lives of young people, especially teenagers. So what this essentially means is that all messages on the platform will be restricted. So users will only get the messages from people they actually follow or are already connected to. There's also going to be a filter for so-called sensitive content, and Meta says examples may include people fighting or even promoting cosmetic procedures, so that should be some good news as well. It will also come with some form of a sleep mode, they're calling it, which turns off notifications between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. and also sends auto replies to users that do send them direct messages. Melissa, so all great news for parents out there knowing that their kids are safe, but they can still use Instagram.
Yeah, helping put their minds at ease, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Now, Canada's inflation rate continues to drop, and that's increasing the chances of another interest rate cut.
Yes, Melissa, and we already pretty much had a guarantee, almost a guarantee, that interest rates are going to come down next month from the Bank of Canada. The question is by how much. Today we found out that in August, consumer price inflation, or the consumer price index, as reported by Statistics Canada, showed that the level cooled to 2%. And remember, the peak that it hit was just over 8% a few years ago. So that's a lot of progress the Bank of Canada has made. 2% is actually its target. So this could mean that not necessarily mission accomplished, but we are very close. So this could mean we're going to get a half percentage point cut next month by the Bank of Canada, Melissa, and at least a quarter point. So all very good news for instance, variable mortgage rates holders.
Absolutely. Now, the Bank of Canada has been consistently cutting rates this summer, and now finally U.S. regulators are set to follow suit as well.
Yes, so like we're talking about the Bank of Canada and what they're going to do next, but that's a month from now. On deck is the U.S. Federal Reserve, essentially the same thing, but in the U.S. So that central bank is going to set monetary policy tomorrow. They started their meeting today, and similar to what we're expecting here, investors and analysts are expecting a rate cut tomorrow, the first of this tightening cycle. So they are a little bit behind the Bank of Canada. Not that they are necessarily behind. It's all based on their economy in the U.S., which has been moving a little differently from ours. So they're hoping for a half point, but it's probably going to be a quarter point. It's all really a betting game, Melissa, but most analysts are betting on at least a quarter point, if not a half, tomorrow.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks so much for that, Ari. We will see you again tomorrow.
See you then.